Hello, movie buffers. Ready to end 2024 with a bang, or maybe a scream? From bone-chilling thrillers to nightmare-inducing scares, these are the top 10 horror movies you need to watch before the year is over. So, before you turn off the lights, please do me a solid by subscribing to this channel and hitting the notification button for more thrilling movies. Now let's dive into the terror. In no particular order, number 10. Saw X. When you think of Saw, you think of terrifying traps, moral dilemmas, and the twisted mind of John Kramer. In Saw X, the series takes us deeper into Jigsaw's psyche, bridging the events between Saw and Saw 2. The story begins with a desperate John Kramer. Diagnosed with terminal cancer, John searches for hope, leading him to an experimental treatment center in Mexico. He learns of a so-called revolutionary procedure that promises a cure, giving him a glimmer of hope amidst the shadow of death. But in classic Saw fashion, things are not what they seem. At first, the clinic's lead doctor, Cecilia, seems kind and compassionate. The staff assures John that the treatment is legitimate. But after undergoing the procedure, John discovers a horrifying truth. The entire operation is a scam, preying on vulnerable people. And this is where the mastermind of pain and justice comes alive. If you know Jigsaw, you know what's coming. A game like no other. The tables turn as Cecilia and her accomplices become the next players in Jigsaw's twisted moral game. Each one faces a gruesome test designed to challenge their greed, deception, and disregard for human life. But what makes Saw X different is the way it explores morality. This isn't just about punishment. It's about second chances, if they can survive. Number 9. Talk to Me. When grief meets the supernatural, the results can be terrifying. Talk to Me is a horror thriller that delves into possession, loss, and the dangers of crossing spiritual boundaries. The film introduces us to Mia, a teenager struggling with the tragic loss of her mother. As she grapples with her grief, she finds herself drawn to a bizarre party game that claims to connect the living with the dead. The centerpiece of this ritual? A mysterious embalmed hand that supposedly acts as a conduit to the spirit world. All you need to do is hold the hand, say the words, "Talk to me," and brace yourself. At first, it's all fun and games, but things take a dark turn when Mia decides to push the boundaries. What was once a thrilling game spirals into something far more sinister. The rules of the ritual are clear. Hold the hand for no more than 90 seconds. But as boundaries are crossed, the consequences become deadly. The film masterfully builds suspense with a blend of psychological and supernatural horror. The jump scares are earned, and the tension lingers long after the scene ends. For Mia, the connection to the spirit world becomes an obsession. She starts seeing and hearing things that her friends can't, driving her deeper into the mystery of the hand and its true purpose. The question becomes, is Mia uncovering a truth? Or is she losing herself entirely to the spirits she's invited in?
Talk to me.
Number 8. The Last Voyage of the Demeter. What happens when an ill-fated ship carries a cargo far darker than its crew ever imagined? The Last Voyage of the Demeter brings Dracula's terror to the high seas. The story begins in 1897, as the merchant ship Demeter is hired to transport mysterious cargo from Carpathia to London. Among the crates is an ominous coffin marked with strange symbols, but the crew, unaware of its sinister contents, focuses on the promise of a good payday. At first, the voyage seems uneventful. The crew bonds, discusses their plans for the future, and laughs over meals. But as the days pass, strange events begin to unsettle the ship. Livestock goes missing, the crew hears strange noises at night, and a sense of dread creeps in. The tension builds as shadows flit across the deck at night, and some crew members whisper about the possibility of a supernatural force among them. When the first crew member is found dead, pale and lifeless, the crew begins to panic. At first, they suspect disease or a predator, but Clemens's medical expertise suggests something far more sinister. The captain orders the ship to be sealed at night, but the deaths continue, each one more gruesome than the last. As the crew dwindles, their fear turns to anger, leading to desperate arguments and accusations. Number 7. The First Omen. The story is set in 1971 and follows Margaret Dano, a young novitiate who travels to Rome after being summoned by Cardinal Lawrence, a man who has acted as her guardian since her childhood at a Massachusetts orphanage. Upon her arrival, Cardinal Lawrence places Margaret at Visordelli Orphanage, where she quickly forms a bond with a troubled girl named Carlita Siana. Margaret's growing attachment to Carlita raises concerns among the other nuns. Her attempts to connect with the child are often obstructed by her superiors, who dismiss Carlita as a problem child. Their harsh methods include using restraints on the girl and isolating her in a place ominously referred to as the bad room. Troubled by their treatment of Carlita, Margaret begins to challenge the nuns' authority, which only escalates the tension within the orphanage. Things take a darker turn when Father Brennan, a disgraced and excommunicated priest, approaches Margaret. He claims to have been cast out for trying to reveal a disturbing conspiracy within the church. Father Brennan warns Margaret to stay away from Carlita, cautioning that evil things will happen around her. Though skeptical at first, Margaret begins to reconsider his warnings as terrifying events start to unfold, leading her to uncover shocking truths that might prove Father Brennan's claims to be true. Number 6. The Inheritance. The story begins with Charles Abernathy, a reclusive billionaire who believes his life is in imminent danger. On the eve of his 75th birthday, he invites his 3 estranged children back to the family estate. Charles's reason for gathering them? He's convinced that tonight, someone, or something, is coming to kill him.
I asked you all here because by midnight, I'm going to die.
As the night unfolds, the cracks in the family's relationships are laid bare. Madeline sees the reunion as a chance to prove she's the rightful heir to the Abernathy fortune. CJ, bitter about being overlooked his entire life, isn't shy about calling out the hypocrisy of the entire charade. And Kami, caught in the middle, struggles to balance her loyalty to her father with her siblings' manipulations. It starts subtly. Lights flicker, the grand chandelier shakes without warning, and the security cameras pick up fleeting glimpses of a shadowy figure lurking in the hallways. Charles's paranoia begins to spread, but the siblings brush it off as his delusions. That is until they discover the body of their sister, Kami, lifeless at the pool. The discovery sends the family into a spiral of fear and suspicion. Charles doubles down on his claim. Someone in the house wants him dead. But with the storm cutting off all communication to the outside world, they're on their own to figure out the truth. Number 5. Scream. When the phone rings and you hear that chilling voice on the other end asking, "What's your favorite scary movie?" You know you're in Ghostface's world. But the latest chapters in the Scream franchise, Scream, 2022, and Scream 6, take this slasher saga to new heights, blending nostalgia, blood-curdling suspense, and meta-storytelling like never before. As the murders escalate, familiar faces return. Yes, that's right. The film cleverly balances its sharp, self-aware humor with relentless tension. But don't get too comfortable. This Ghostface is different, more brutal, more methodical, and with motivations tied to deeper, darker secrets. As the blood flows and the stakes rise, alliances are tested, and nothing is quite as it seems.
Would you like to play a game? Tara.
Fast forward to Scream 6, a bold departure from Woodsboro that takes us straight to the gritty streets of New York City. Yes, Ghostface in the Big Apple. This time, Sam, Tara, and their friends are trying to leave their past behind, starting fresh in the bustling chaos of NYC. But Ghostface doesn't respect boundaries. When the murders start again, it's clear that the killer, or killers, are taking their twisted game to the next level. But here's the thing about Ghostface. Just when you think you've figured it all out, he's already one step ahead, knife in hand, and your name on his list. These latest chapters of Scream remind us that no one is ever truly safe. Not in Woodsboro, not in New York City, not anywhere. So, tell me, if Ghostface called you, would you survive the night? Number 4, smile. What if the most terrifying thing wasn't a monster you could fight, but a smile you couldn't escape? Welcome to the chilling world of Smile and its haunting sequel, Smile 2. These movies dig deep into your psyche, turning something as innocent as a smile into your worst nightmare. Brace yourselves, horror fans. This recap will have you questioning every grin you see. The first Smile introduces us to Dr. Rose Cotter, a compassionate therapist working in a psychiatric ward. But when a patient claims she's being haunted by an eerie, smiling figure and then meets a gruesome fate, Rose finds herself spiraling into the same horrifying pattern. The movie expertly balances psychological terror with visceral scares as Rose uncovers a sinister curse passed from victim to victim. Each person infected is tormented by terrifying hallucinations and unshakable paranoia before their time runs out. What makes this movie so gripping is its relentless atmosphere. Whether it's a shadow creeping behind Rose, a smile that lingers too long, or a chilling silence broken by sudden horror. And just when you thought the terror was over, Smile 2 takes the dread to a whole new level. This time, the curse finds a new host, and the stakes are higher than ever. The sequel expands on the lore, diving deeper into the origins of the sinister entity and its horrifying connection to its victims. The Smile movies aren't just horror films, they're nightmares brought to life. Number 3. The Substance. Welcome to The Substance, the 2024 body horror sensation that has left audiences both mesmerized and horrified. This film doesn't just push boundaries, it obliterates them, delivering a visceral experience that lingers long after the credits roll. At the heart of The Substance is Elizabeth Sparkle. Once a Hollywood A-lister, Elizabeth now finds herself relegated to hosting a morning aerobics show, her star power dimming with age. On her 50th birthday, she's unceremoniously fired by the callous studio head, Harvey. Desperate to reclaim her former glory, Elizabeth turns to a clandestine solution, a mysterious drug known only as the Substance. This experimental serum promises to restore youth and beauty, but its effects are far from ordinary. Upon injection, Elizabeth undergoes a grotesque transformation, birthing a younger, idealized version of herself named Sue. As Elizabeth and Sue navigate this bizarre coexistence, tensions escalate, leading to a harrowing exploration of identity, vanity, and the perils of defying nature. The Substance isn't just a horror film. It's a warning, a twisted mirror reflecting our deepest fears about vanity and mortality. It dares to ask, how far would you go to stay young? But remember, every miracle has a price, and some transformations can never be undone. But be careful. The Substance teaches us one thing. The real horror starts when you stop recognizing the face in the mirror. Number 2. Longlegs. What do you do when the monster isn't just lurking in the shadows, but is woven into your fate? Enter Longlegs, the 2024 horror film that's both spine-chilling and psychologically gripping. With its dark visuals and haunting narrative, this movie doesn't just scare you, it creeps under your skin. At the heart of Longlegs is Lee Harker, a driven FBI agent. She's called in to investigate a series of grotesque and ritualistic murders that defy all logic. The killings are meticulously staged, and the signature element? The cryptic presence of unnervingly elongated figures, dubbed Longlegs by investigators. As Lee dives deeper into the case, she finds herself entangled in a nightmarish web that seems to connect the murders to her own hidden past. Each lead takes her closer to the truth, but the cost is steep as the lines between reality and delusion blur. The tension ramps up with every twist, and by the time the pieces start falling into place, you'll realize you've been holding your breath the entire time. What makes Longlegs so compelling is its ability to keep you guessing. Just when you think you've figured out who or what is behind the horror, the story twists into something even darker. But fear not, no spoilers here. The ending is one you'll need to witness yourself. And finally, number 1, Late Night with the Devil. What happens when a late-night talk show turns into a demonic nightmare? Brace yourselves, horror fans, because Late Night with the Devil is a movie that combines the charm of vintage TV with a nightmarish twist that'll have you sleeping with the lights on. Late Night with the Devil is set in 1977, smack in the middle of the golden age of late-night television. The story follows Jack Delroy, a charismatic but struggling talk show. Jack is on the verge of losing everything: his career, his audience, and even his sanity, when he decides to stage a comeback with a live Halloween special unlike any other. The episode starts innocently enough, with celebrity interviews and campy Halloween gags. But as the night unfolds, things take a dark and sinister turn. Jack introduces a controversial guest, a woman who claims to be possessed, and from there, the show spirals into absolute chaos. The supernatural horrors become disturbingly real, blending perfectly with the suspense of live television. The question is, are the demons just for show, or is something truly evil at play? The audience, both in the room and at home, is trapped in a surreal spectacle where fear becomes contagious. Jack's determination to hold it together only accelerates the unraveling of everything around him. There you have it, 10 horror movies to end 2024 with a scream. Which one did you enjoy the most? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more terrifyingly good content. Until next time, stay scared.